and welcome to Chentex Multimedia live streaming to your device straight from Brisbane. And it's a wonderful day out there today, and we'd like to wish everyone all the very best for the festivities that's happening. As they say, many festivals, one name is India. So it's Makar Sankranti, Pongal, Uttarayan, Bihu, whatever you call it. So wishing everyone all the very best, and may I wish that your pot always be full and overflowing, as is the wishes. Well, right now let's go on, and before we get into the news proper today, let's take a very quick look at what's happening with the weather. With that, let's welcome Dilraj Dillon.
Good morning everyone. Weather forecast for the rest of today is maximum 31 degree. Brisbane area is mostly sunny with light winds. Fire danger is low to moderate. Sun protection is recommended till 10 past 4 and UV index is predicted to reach 13, that is extreme. Till tomorrow, stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day.
And thank you very much for that, Dilraj. Well, right now, as we know, we're talking about Pongal. So, let's take a look at, as I mentioned before, many festivals, one name. So wishing everyone a very happy Bihu, Lori, Makar Sankranti, Pongal. And of course, we know Makar Sankranti also known as Uttarayan in different parts of the world. So here's a wish from Boris Johnson on this day.
To our fantastic British Tamil community and to Tamils around the world, I wish you a very happy Thai Pongal. And as you gather together with your family and friends, I believe there is so much to celebrate and to look forward to, not least the delicious rice pudding, Pongal, which I hope all of you will be enjoying very shortly. Of course, traditionally this day of worship celebrates the arrival of the harvest, but I also want to celebrate the contribution of Tamils in the UK, from building businesses that boost our economy, teaching children in our schools, treating patients in our NHS, caring for the vulnerable in our society, and much, much more. Your fantastic contribution makes a real difference, and it will be incredibly important as we continue to forge ahead with our plans to make this country the greatest place on earth to live, work, raise a family. So let me say an enormous thank you to our wonderful Tamil community and wish you every enjoyment of the festivities today and over the coming days. And may your year ahead be just as overflowing with happiness, joy and prosperity as that traditional pot of sweet Pongal.
And a very nice message there from Boris Johnson on Pongal, and happy Pongal to everyone as well. We know that around this time, normally we would be at some function somewhere, looking at the rangolis or judging the Pongals and the displays. And I'm missing all that. Normally we'd be at the Robail Domain or somewhere where, the festivities would be taking place. But nevertheless, we should be happy that we are safe. So, what is Pongal and what are these other festivals? Just in a very quick short video, we'll look at all of that.
Pongal is an important festival in Tamil Nadu, Pondicherry, Sri Lanka and other countries where Tamil-speaking people live. It is the harvest festival that falls on 14th of January and goes until the 16th of January. It marks the end of Tamil month Margari on 13th of January and the beginning of the first day of Thai on the 14th of January. Also called Thai Pongal, it corresponds to Makara Sankranti, the winter harvest festival that is celebrated throughout India. Today we are going to talk about the 5 interesting facts about Pongal. Number 5. The meaning. The term Pongal in Tamil means to boil over. It is symbolic of our happiness and agricultural produce overflowing the brim. This festival is celebrated as a Thanksgiving Day to the sun god. People of all castes celebrate Pongal with religious zeal. Particularly in the rural areas, it is very popular and the farm workers get a reward called Pongal Inam in the form of cash, clothes, etc. Number 4. One of the oldest festivals. Pongal is a festival of great antiquity, dating as far back as probably 1000+ years, as confirmed by epigraphical evidence found in the Pudiyid during the medieval Chola Empire days. Pudiyid refers to the very first harvest of the year. Commonly in the month of Thai, that is January and February, cash crops like rice, sugarcane, turmeric, etc. are harvested. Hence, this festival is associated with the annual harvest season. Number 3. How others celebrate. This festival is called Makar Sankranti in Andhra and other states, Bihu in Bihar, and Uttarayana in Rajasthan and Gujarat, whereas in Punjab and Haryana it is called Maghi. Number 2. How the Tamils celebrate. Tamil people, irrespective of their religion, celebrate this festival by offering their salutations to the sun god by making the dish Pongal. Both sweet Pongal and salted Pongal are made and are offered to God. Tamilians also get sugarcane and eat it as a part of this festival. Number 1. The 4-day festival. The first day is called Bhogi, where old unwanted things are burnt to make way for new in the house. This is considered to bring wealth to the family. The second day, which is Thai Pongal, is the most auspicious day, when all the major puja happens and they welcome the Thai month with open arms. The third day is called Matu Pongal, which literally means cow's Pongal. In this day, we thank the cows for their relentless work for us in the fields, for transportation and for milk. They are decorated and paraded in the streets nearby. The fourth day is called Kanum Pongal. After giving offerings to our ancestors, we take this day off and try seeing new things. This is more like the ultimate free day for the farmers, who try to visit cities nearby, roam around and enjoy themselves. Hope you got some information about this festival. And with this, we start the new series, Know Your Festivals. An initiative
That was about Pongal and the associated festivals there, and I think it's very good to know the reasoning behind and why and how it is all celebrated. But right now, it's time to look at the update from the Queensland Parliament, and after that, we go into the main feature for today, which is the travel update with Oz India Travel and Tanvi Goyal. But right now, let's cross over to the Parliament House. Yes, we are ready. Joining now.
Well, nice reception from the journos. That's lovely to hear. Okay, so in good news overnight, we only have 4 new cases and all of them are in hotel quarantine and none of them were in the Hotel Grand Chancellor. We have 27 active cases and in the past 24 hours we have had 13,061 tests. Look, these are really, really good test results, everyone, and it's great to see Queenslanders coming forward. On my way in this morning, I saw people lined up outside of the clinic as well, so that's everyone's listening to the message that if you are sick, come and get tested, so that's great. Now, I want to personally thank police, health and ambulance staff, and especially those in the Grand Chancellor Hotel. All of the guests were removed yesterday and transported to another hotel. That was very smoothly done, and I do want to thank all of those agencies for working so cooperatively together to make that happen. So all 129 guests have now been relocated. Now, of course, too, all of the actions that we've been taking, Dr Young has had the full endorsement of the AHPPC. So Dr Young has been talking to her colleagues on a regular basis about everything that we are doing, and that is being backed up nationally. Not only that, the Federal Health Minister has also contacted our Health Minister here, Yvette Darth, and has also backed the actions that we are taking. So swift, strong actions needed to protect Queenslanders. I can also confirm now that 226 staff have all been contacted and are being tested and isolated, and along with the 147 former guests of the hotel, this number has been revised down from yesterday, and so far 3/4 of those have been contacted and tested. In more good news, 406 contacts of the cleaner and her partner have been contacted, tested and isolated, and so far none of them have tested positive. So the investigation is still underway. We won't be commenting daily on that investigation. That is a matter for police and health, so we'll let them deal with that. But I do want to make just a few comments about a quarantine into the future. So we are going to look at all options, and one of those options is to look at some of the mining camps that we have in Queensland. Now, for a start, some of these mining camps are 4-star. They are of a very good quality, high standard. My understanding is some of them have, most of them, the ones that we're looking at, have balconies, so there's sort of fresh air for guests. And also too, there's the capacity for all of the staff and the cleaners and everyone to also be based on those sites as well. Now, I'm going to put this forward as an option to the federal government, and we'll be having those discussions, so we'll look forward to those discussions over the next few days. But also too, I do want to discuss it at National Cabinet. That will be held on Friday week. I hope the AHPPC advice will also go to National Cabinet. And it's a matter for state and territories, but I think with this new strain, we have to put all options on the table, and these are sensible, rational options. The Howard Springs works very well in the Northern Territory, and there's no reason why we couldn't do something similar here in Queensland, or if not, around the country. But of course, that's a matter for other jurisdictions. So we are looking at those options. We are looking at alternative plans to hotel quarantine that is based, right in the midst of CBD, where you have a whole lot of staff that come in from all around, and you have airports people flying in and out of airports. So I think this is a rational option, and if we are dealing with a strain which is up to 70% more infectious, I think we need to be really serious about it. So it's something I think we need to give very, very careful consideration. So I've asked Dr Young and the Health Minister and the Commissioner and her team to go and look at some options for government to consider. So, look, I'll hand over to Dr Young and then the Health Minister.
Thank you, Premier. So 4 new cases here in Queensland overnight, none of them related to the Grand Chancellor outbreak. So 2 men from the United States who are in one hotel, not the hotel that the Grand Chancellor people went to, and 2 are from South Africa in another hotel, again not where any of those guests were transferred to last night. So that means we now in Queensland have 27 active cases with a total of 1,287 cases to date. Thank you to every single person who's come forward to get tested. You know me, I would always like to see more, not because I've got any concerns, but just it gives us an even better picture of what is happening out there. So please, anyone with any symptoms at all, anywhere in Queensland, don't think because you're in one part of Queensland that there is no chance that you've managed to acquire the infection. The best way, any symptom, just come forward and get tested, and then you'll know that you don't have COVID-19 infection. So that is really important as we go forward. Now, I am very confident that we have found the close contacts of both the cleaner and her partner, and because we had those 3 days that people weren't leaving their home and people followed those instructions brilliantly, then I have very little concern that that spread in the community. So we're testing all of those people. So far we haven't had any positives, which is good, but we all have to remember that 14-day incubation period. So those people do need to stay in isolation for the full 14 days from when they potentially had contact with someone with the virus. So that's all working very, very well. And as you heard, we are looking at other options in Queensland that might assist us in quarantining people. So we have a very, very good quarantine program here that we've had now since March last year. We have a lot of practice at it, and so we're looking again if there's anything we can do to enhance that program. But at this stage, there is nothing that I have found that says that the cleaner did anything wrong. This is a virus, a very, very contagious virus, and I absolutely want to thank the cleaner for all the help she's provided and she's continuing to provide. That is critical. Remembering she's infected with it, so she is unwell. So she is providing us all of that assistance while she'll also be concerned. So thank you.
GlobeNet Realty. GlobeNet Realty has been the longest established, trusted and respected agency in its trade area. Washa Chandra, Director of GlobeNet Realty, provides honest and ethical service to her customers. If you are thinking of investing in Brisbane real estate market, or if you are seeking professional property management, then you should contact Usha Chandra today on landline 3865 4466 or mobile 0419 775 416. And for further updates, log on to our website www.globenetralty.com.au. GlobeNet Realty is your own local real estate agency. Situated at Shop 52281 Sandgate Road, Boondall. GlobeNet Realty. Real estate is our world.
So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's that time of the week when we bring to you all the travel updates. I know many people are very eager. They've got itchy feet, being sitting at home, not having to go anywhere. And this is historic time. We have just come out of the 3-day lockdown of Brisbane and Greater Brisbane. And I think well done, Queenslanders. They've done very well. But right now, let's welcome Tanvi from Oz India Travel to the show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Umesh. Thank you, everyone. First of all, happy Makar Sankranti, happy Lodi, happy Pongal, happy Bihu. It's so amazing. I know here we are locked up in house and can't see, enjoy or see festivals around. But I hope you all are enjoying with your family and friends. So congratulations. We have come to 2021 with full excitement, and I'm sure it will be great. So guys, today is our 13th episode. Really very, very excited to be with you again. And we got another lot of information with updates for you. Before we go ahead, I would like to inform that in today's episode, all the information provided are general information only. For all up-to-date information, please check regular updates from government and all relevant websites. And yeah, we'll come back to you with more updates as well. Umesh.
And thank you very much. Season's greetings with all the festivals that are happening at this time. And you know what? It is the same as White Christmas. Christmas in England and London is White Christmas, where they have all this snow. And same thing with Lodi, because in India it's winter. And here it is, peak summer. So, the touch and the feel is slightly different. But nevertheless, the spirit always lives on there. So, okay, moving on. What are the main updates for this week?
Umesh, as you mentioned about the lockdown, again, after lockdown, our premier came back. And not only that, even all around Australia, and if people fly domestically or they go international, it has become mandatory to use face masks. So even in public and in flights as well. So it doesn't matter if someone is going on check-in, you're going on airport, or you are sitting in a flight all the time, you have to wear the mask. There is just one exception. If you are medically informed by a practitioner that you can't use it, then you can be exempted. Or if you are less than 12 years old, then you can't. But yes, it's really mandatory. And guys, one more thing, we were watching as well in one of the travel updates where they said people are putting masks, but mask is just still here. So make sure your mouth and your nose are covered when you're using the face mask. It's very important, not only for you, but for all of us. So that's very, very important. With that, also, please make sure all the state border travel restrictions are also in place. They are also keep changing every day. For example, some of the government, let's say, and Victoria and New South Wales, they have made some border pass mandatory. People might need some pre-approval. They're asking for some quarantine as well. So these restrictions are changing every day. Previously, when you have a flight from Sydney or Melbourne, like we have been discussing from last 12 weeks as well, that you didn't have to take the permits. But since now it's mandatory, even though you have your domestic flight, you have your mask on, you have your international flights, it's mandatory in some states that you have their entry permit. So please make sure you have one. And also, if you go on that particular state's website, they have the categories there. So please opt the category where it says that you are transiting or taking the next flight, if you're going for the flight option, taking your next flight from particular airport. So that's something very, very important. Please make sure you have that handy before you fly. And yeah, it's very, very important. And also all the relevant travel documentation as well. For example, and the COVID test. So previously, it was not mandatory in your domestic flights that if you don't have it. But remember, now onwards, they might ask you for the COVID test negative result as well. I was told by a couple of passengers they were asked. So please make sure you have all the documents handy before you go. Now, I also want to tell you about some flights which were suspended. If you remember last week when we were talking, it was suspended up till 8th of January. But these are the same sectors now suspended up till 17th of January. Let me just tell you the airport names as well. So flights between Sydney and Avalon, Sydney and Perth, Sydney to Darwin, Sydney and Hamilton Island, Sydney and Townsville, Sydney and Sunshine Coast, and Sydney and Gold Coast. So flight between those sectors are suspended by Jetstar specifically, and even other carriers also suspending a lot of other flights, even between Melbourne and Brisbane and Melbourne and Sydney. So please make sure if you are taking any flight further or you're going for holidays or any particular reason, make sure you're checking whether your flight is still active, flight is still operating, or whether you have to change the date or go from there. Now there is one more update from Jetstar. That's about they were actually planning to have some flights between Melbourne and Bristolton. That's Western Australia and Victoria, which was scheduled to start in February, but now they are planning to start that in June, late June. So which may have three flights a week, but at this stage they have postponing considering the current situation. There is some update from Virgin Australia as well. So Virgin Australia are planning to open some lounges. They are between in Perth and Gold Coast. Considering there are so many people flying, domestically, and because of COVID, they don't want to expose many places. Though still the existing lounges, they don't have the shower facility or wallet facilities, but at least there will be places you can go and sit and relax. So yeah, in Perth and Gold Coast, some more lounges are expected to be coming soon. Now another good update from Virgin Australia Group is they are expanding their partnership with Air Canada. So that will allow you to get the Velocity frequent flyer points, and also they'll give you status credits on your selected flights with Air Canada traveling between Australia, Vancouver and beyond. So yeah, anything between these two sectors, you might expect more options coming your way. To be eligible for that, you must go on the Air Canada website and add your Velocity frequent flyer points yourself. So even you are booking with your travel agent, you have to give them your Velocity numbers and also go on the Air Canada website and put it over there. Now there was one update from Cathay Pacific, and this time the Cathay Pacific Cargo. They have announced the launch of Ultra Track. That's a next generation track and trace system, they call it. They're planning that especially for the transshipment of COVID-19 vaccine around the globe. So that's really great news for us. When I even myself read anything about the vaccine and COVID-19, my bulb kind of lights up like, okay, things are definitely going back to place. So yes, Cathay Pacific Cargo is planning to start that, which is great. Now, another update is from Emirates. Emirates is planning the US expansion, so they are resuming non-stop services from Dubai to Dallas, from San Francisco to North American networks to around 10 cities, which will be great. And they're planning to operate that around 4 times a week, and there'll be some DFW flights also coming around 3 times a week. So hopefully we'll have some more options from Australia as well, but at this stage at least they have option from Dubai, and hopefully we'll be able to take flight from Australia to Dubai and Dubai to further in future. There is one more update from Thailand. So you must have heard there are a lot of restriction happened in Thailand, but Thailand is planning to still have some flights. They have reduced though a lot of flights, at least up till 27th of March. They have single flight Thai ways including for Sydney, Frankfurt, London, Seoul, and Tapai. But yeah, you will see their schedules are a lot less till 27th of March. Guys, I have really very exciting news for those who are still waiting to listen about New Zealand. So finally something came up for New Zealand, though it's the flights not open, but the Gold Coast and Queenstown in New Zealand, you might see some new private jet service coming up. There is an entrepreneur called Calvin Carlin. He's planning, some special charter planes, and you'll be surprised to see that the fare is around $3,000 one way, and that's a 3.5 hours flight, and that will give you a nice quality champagne or some nice quality food, and hopefully if that happens, then you might have a two-way bubble also can happen for this luxurious kind of jet, and that can accommodate for 12 people. So which means you might have your own jet for your family getaway to New Zealand. I'm really quite excited for that, and I thought it's better I just share with you all that something like this is happening, and I hope it should be clear in next few months. There is one update from Fiji Airways as well. We got so many passengers asked in last few weeks about Fiji and about the repatriation flights and all, and very, very happy to share with you all that there are some Fiji Airways repatriation flights happening from January till March, and as I was checking, I was so happy to see that Brisbane is one of them. So there'll be flights from Nadi to Brisbane and Nadi to Sydney, and also going back as well. So these flights are 2 to 3 times a week to Australia and coming back, and that's till end of the March 2021 as of now. So yes, those who are from Fiji got stuck in Australia, you have option to go back, and I think Australians who are stuck in Fiji can come back as well. So that's really fantastic news. If you have to go back to Fiji, please look out for this space, and we'll be probably sharing more news with you in next few days or next week as well. Now, there is one more news from the travel insurance side, that's from Covermore. They have revealed they're gonna introduce a new app designed for basically travelers who are flying overseas, especially those who need emergency services, and they're planning to launch this one in the next quarter, maybe next few months. So in that app, you will have option, you'll have all emergency contact numbers, assistance, what all things will be required. So it will be quite easy for you to interact and do things. So yes, that was another great news I thought of sharing with you. So yeah, that's the main updates for now. Umeshji?
It is exciting news that there are the flights to Fiji there as well for Fiji citizens and approved the travelers as well. So that is wonderful, and it's good that you have shared the news there with everyone as well. And of course, I was very interested in that flight that's going to happen to New Zealand. Getting that private jet of your own. Oh my God, yeah, that sounds good. High quality food, 12 people, 3.5 hours of bliss.
A nice champagne and nice
so
food
when we look at when we're looking at Brisbane. So what are the options from Brisbane at this point in time?
Okay, Maisy, the exciting thing is the next upcoming flight is 26 Feb from Brisbane. So 29th January, guys, you must have heard, but that one is already sold out. If you still need it, I might try, because in every flight there are 10 to 15 cancellations. So if you need it, you can still contact us and we will let you know if that's possible. But if you want to make sure and want to book it straight away, you have option 26th of February. That exactly the same flight. That's Malindo flight. Fare start from $1,099 for 15 kilos, and we have a 30 kilos and 40 kilos option as well in economy, and the fare is up to $1,299. And also the business class is available for $1,999, yeah, there are some discounts also happening. So yeah, if you want to have a direct charter easy option, you can take this charter, and this charter, guys, is connected to all the cities in India as well. So, and that's the shortest flight, departing around 5 o'clock from Brisbane and reaching Delhi 7 o'clock. And then we have after 5-6 hours connection to all cities in India. Now, the next available option, guys, is Emirates. So Emirates is also going pretty much 1 or 2 flights a week from Brisbane. Their fares start from $1,125. Just remember, Emirates is going with longer hauls, so 17 to 23 hours. You might need a lounge or hotel for that, which we can apply as well. So that's not a problem. And also, if you want to take a flight from any other cities, to be very frank, at this stage, we are not recommending you to take flights from Sydney or Melbourne, and that's very, very important for you. As I mentioned, these days they're asking you to have some entry permits as well, and entry permit is also subject to availability, and a lot more conditions are there. So I would say please go via Melbourne, Sydney only if it's very, very important for you. Apply for permits and all. Otherwise, try to take the charter on 26 February or go with Emirates is what I would recommend at this stage, Umeshi.
And that is again very wonderful news. I was looking at that the Malindo Airlines and the business class at 1999. That sounds very good.
Yep.
But do they have lounges in, say, Brisbane?
No, Macy, at this stage, most of the airlines are not giving lounges because of COVID. It's all closed, and I don't think so. I'm not aware, but I'll definitely check on that and come back to you about the lounges if there is any update about it.
No problem at all. Now, moving on, of course, next stop is Sydney. So what's the update for flights from Sydney?
So Macy, from Sydney, the Vande Bharat mission flights are also going. They have flight pretty much every week or, up till 30th January. And the fare start for Vande Bharat mission flight is $1,798. That's for those who want to have a direct flight without any stops. But if you are connecting to any other cities, it may be problematic for you if Air India doesn't have options straight. But if you want to go with charters, there are quite a few options up till February. So next available is 21st of January, then 30th of January, 13th Feb, 18th Feb, 25th Feb to Bangalore, and 27th Feb. So let me just clear once again, guys, those who needs to go to Bangalore, the only remaining flight right now from Sydney to Bangalore is on 25th of February. All other flights are going Sydney to Delhi. Amazing.
Right, so we have got Sydney covered now, and of course whenever I talk about Melbourne, there's a smile on your face always. So right now, let's check about Melbourne and see what's happening from there.
Okay, so I am smiling because all Melbourne always have the best options, and Melbourne is the only one right now, those who got the Singapore lines, except the Bangalore flight on 25th of February. Melbourne is the only one who got the Singapore lines charters, which I know so many people excited about. So Singapore lines flight, guys, on 22nd of Jan, 5th of February and 19th February. These are direct charters from Melbourne to Delhi around 14-15 hours, and the fare of that one starts around $1,399 for 40 close option, and they have business class as well. And if you want to have a slightly cheaper option, you can have a Sri Lankan Airlines, and Sri Lankan Airlines is also 1 or 2 flights a week till February. So next available is 23rd of January, 29th January, 11th February, 18th February, 20th February, and 25th February. So there are quite a few options from Melbourne to Delhi at this stage. Amazing.
That's wonderful news once again from Melbourne. Quite a few options there, which is great.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Now the other side of Australia, Perth. So what's the update from Perth to India?
Okay, so Perth got only one flight, which is almost sold out as well. So I would say the last few flights, guys, last few seats available, and that's the only flight, 21st of January, and the fares start $1,490, and that can be connected all around India as well. So please make sure if you need one of those flights, you just book it fast. So yeah, it's still available.
Still available, and that is wonderful news there. Well, moving on, we also always cover people who are in India and who need to get to Australia. So what's the update in that situation? I know you always mention that people need to be registered, but what's the situation there now?
Umesh, exactly. Right now, it's still the same situation. I heard there are some flights, 3-4 flights scheduled to come. But once again, those who are registered with DFAT can get the information when to do that. For Qantas flight, only DFAT is calling, very selected number of people. And for Air India, people have to book themselves. But I was checking with some of the charter companies recently, and we were discussing about the charters. So we are optimistic, and maybe in next few months we might see some charters coming, and booking may start soon as well. So whenever that starts, we'll definitely come back to you. But at this stage, there is really no option from India for us to book. But yeah, just stay tuned, and hopefully there'll be more flights. But guys, here I would again remind you to please join the Australian Stuck in India Facebook page, because that's the most amazing platform where you can have all the up-to-date information from the passengers who are successful to come back in the last few days. People are still trying all different routes, but that's not recommended. Please wait for your turn and keep yourself updated with DFAT, and call them and tell them it's important for you. Other than that, there is really no other update from India to Australia at this stage, Umeshi.
And once again, thank you very much for that update. I know it is hard for people who are stuck, but of course, if they follow all the protocols and if they keep up to date, and that Facebook page that you have mentioned as well, if they're on there, they can probably get all the... So, I mean, that's the update from India to Australia. Now, what do you have in the way of tips and advice for people traveling at this point in time?
My first tip would be having extra mask with you guys. So I saw in last few days some people didn't carry the mask. They said they thought airlines gonna give you. Most of the airlines are giving you mask. That's not a problem, but you have to have the mask before you leave home. I got one of the passenger called me, ma'am, sorry, I left the mask in the car. I left the mask somewhere else. So please make sure you have one extra mask in your bag as well, and one wearing. So one extra mask is really definitely recommended at this stage, because guys, since it's mandatory to carry or wear it, so they might stop you boarding the plane as well. So please make sure, or even entering the plane, they might ask you to please go and get the mask first before you enter the airports. So please avoid these circumstances and carry one extra mask with you. That's very, very important. Now, if you are flying with any of the domestic flights, once again, I want to give you a tip, which is please make sure that to check whether you need permit or not. Please just don't think that your friend has flown before without the permit via Sydney or Melbourne or other states, and you won't need it. So it's very, very important that you carry all the valid documents with you, and also check your permits if you require any of the permits. And another thing which I have seen in last few weeks was that some people were getting random calls from someone saying you are going on different dates. For example, someone booked 30th of January, but he was getting a random call from someone saying, no, your flight is on 18th of February. So please don't worry about this random kind of calls. Sometimes these marketing calls from different places happens, and there are some scams also happening. It was a quite unique and like a shock kind of thing for me, that one of my passengers said he got a call, no, your flight is on 18. So please don't believe that. Always call your booking agent or wherever you have booked the flight, and make sure your flight is on the same time. If that happens, they will send you email as well and confirm everything. But please just don't believe the random call someone makes to you, and you feel it's not best. So Other than that, please don't worry about if your self-reporting form or exemption form are rejected. But it is very mandatory now that you do apply exemption again, because I had some passengers recently, those who have flown on 8th of January last week, that one of the passenger could not get the exemption online. It was keep rejecting, and his son thought she'll just carry the COVID test and it should be fine. Earlier it used to be, but these days seems they are more strict, and she had to pay 5,000 on spot and get the COVID test done again. So I would recommend you to please make sure that you apply the exemption. One of the reason, guys, why the exemptions are rejected, the most common one is when you upload your report, it's not clear. Okay, so don't think that that you have uploaded a report and it's rejected. Just try to find out the reasons why it can be, because sometimes it's blurred, they can't see it, sometimes it doesn't mention a particular date. So let me just go through with you what is required on your COVID test report, the one you upload on Air Suvidha self-exemption form. So what very first important thing is the name should be exactly as per the passport. That's the passport of the passenger. So if they have a middle name, make sure that name is also there. Number 2 is about is our date of birth. So date of birth is also very important to be written on COVID test report. Number 3 is the test, the day and the time the test was taken. And number 4 is the COVID test report is negative. So these 4 things are mandatory. And when you are uploading, make sure it's clear. And all these 4 things are also clear when you are uploading the report. So that was another thing which I came across last week with a couple of passengers, and I just wanted to share with you all. So that's about it. Rest everything you guys already know. And if there are anything which you have any question, feel free to message us. And please don't forget to watch our last 12 episodes. There are so many questions which we have covered there, which you can see. And if you like this episode, please share with your family and friends and everywhere on Facebook. And if you have any question, feel free to message us on the same video on Australian Indian Radio, to us on Australian Indian Oz India Travel page or Facebook page. And you can always call us on our hotline, which is 040-440-3264. We have landline numbers as well, which is flash on the website on here. And you can go on our website as well, which is www.ozindiatravel.com.au. There are quite a few options. And also one more thing I want to mention here. If you want to send your expression of interest for March flights, or you want to send expression of interest for India to Australia flights, whenever they becomes available, you can go on our website and just submit the inquiry from there. That will come in a record, and whenever there is a flight available, we'll contact you. So that's a new service which we have recently introduced, which you can take benefit of as well. And yeah, feel free to call us. And very proud to say once again, guys, so which I always mention, doesn't matter whether you booked with us or not, doesn't matter what little or big inquiries you have, you can always contact us via message, emails or anything. Me or my team is always there around to help you, to guide you through the process, and you don't have to pay us anything. We can send you all the forms required. I saw some passengers booked online and they didn't know about the forms and they were worried later on. So yeah, once again, don't worry about that. If you have any questions, feel free to call us. And we are there with you. Amazing.
Once again, thank you very much for that very informative session. As we know, we have just come out of the lockdown, and especially all the information about the masks around this time. I think that is very important. And sometimes many things sound very simple and logical, but people forget. And then at the worst of the times, they can get into a lot of trouble, because if people ask for it, that now you have to have it, and that's when like that test that you mentioned. So once again, to all our listeners, this is a service that's been provided by Oz India Travel, that if you need any information, whether you have booked through them or not, you can still contact them and get that information, and that is so wonderful. And once again, wishing everyone all the very best for the number of festivals that we have around this time. Of course, the celebrations are a bit subdued because of the conditions, but once again, wishing everyone the very best for the festivals. And thank you once again, Anvi, for that update. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, and stay safe.
Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, and enjoy festivities.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the weekly segment from the Oz in Trouble. That was our 13th episode, and it's so good to see all the information that is made available to everyone there. Well, right now, finishing off, we'll just take a very quick look at what's happening with the vaccine and the vaccine situation.
We've had so few cases in Australia over the last year compared with many other countries that we are essentially completely non-immune. So the choice is not whether one is better than the other, it's which one is available to give the maximum rollout of vaccine to save lives and to protect lives this year. And the answer to that is the one we can make here. As you've mentioned already, we don't have the ability to make mRNA vaccine onshore. We have made the ability to make the AstraZeneca vaccine as a different version of essentially getting to the same endpoint. We've got that through CSL, so we have those doses onshore. We're not in any queue for those.
So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you very much for joining in today's segment. And of course, if you have any questions, please do send those to us, and we will gladly answer those questions for you. And it's always so good to see you on the show. And if you would like to be on the show, we'd like to welcome you. Just be in touch with us, and we can get you via video link. We can get you into the studio. There are some protocols that need to be followed, and if you're happy to follow that, you can come into the studio as well. If you have any topic that you'd like to discuss, we'd be more than happy to have you on the show. As we know, there are some challenges with the shows these days because of all the rules and the community standards that's being set in by the streaming platforms. So we need to be careful. We need to abide by the rules as they are the rules. Certain things we find as we go along, and we have to fine-tune that, and hence there have been some changes to the show as to what we can and what we can't bring on the show, it takes a little bit longer now, doing a little bit more research and making sure, basically vetting all the clips before they are put on through the show. Look, the thing is, they are already online, they are available, and the streaming platforms have the share button on there, so you can click share and that post is shared. But if you share it through here, then you have some consequences, but that's all okay. It's all good, and as they say, the show must go on. So we must try and find out innovative ways, and I'm very excited to tell you that tomorrow in the studios we will have Amit Mehta. He's the director of Different Worlds. It's a web series which will go a long way. I have looked in depth at that, and I'm very, very excited to be welcoming Amit, Jane, and Stephen in the studio tomorrow to discuss about this web series. And this web series looks at the differences between many different cultures, and now that a lot of Indian students have come here, and lately the new migrants who have come in here, how and what are the challenges, how do they mix in, how do they assimilate in the wider society, in the communities, and if and when they do that, rather than just staying in their own circles, when there is that intermix, what likely scenarios arise, how are they tackled, or do they cause a lot of angst? So it is very well made. It's Brisbane made web series, and it will premiere on the 30th of this month. But tomorrow we will look at that in detail, and we'll talk to them in detail right here in this studio tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll be covering the cast and the directors of Different Worlds, a brand new web series made in Brisbane, and we will be talking to all of them tomorrow and see what they have to say about that. We'll also take a sneak preview and some glimpses of that as well, and we'll give you all the links to the where to book for the tickets if you want to come to the premiere, which will be on the 30th of January, or if you want to watch via online platforms. And of course, a project like that always needs a bit of funding as well. So if you are willing to support it in any which way, it's a good venture taken on by young entrepreneurs, and that's when we as a community need to come out and support the creative art that is being generated by our younger generation. So it is wonderful to see that. So that's what's coming in tomorrow. I thought I'd throw that in because it is very, very interesting how the concept came about, what were the challenges, and how they're doing it. You can hear and listen from their own mouth. So, we managed to get 3 of them into the studios tomorrow. So that would be Amit Mehta and Jane Buchkova, and of course Stephen will be joining us tomorrow live from these studios talking about Different Worlds, the web series. Until tomorrow, it's goodbye from me. It's always so good to see you. Wonderful to have your company. We'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, remain safe.